for a moment.
Hey, we're back, All Things 3D, another episode live from Real 2015 in San Francisco, California. Today is February 26th, 2015, and we've got a special guest from Autodesk, Elmer Bol. Did I say that right?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, and so we wanted to find out a little bit more. Autodesk is kind of sponsoring this whole event, and it's the first year of the event. A lot of exciting stuff going on, all about capturing and stuff like that. And we want to find out from you kind of like where you fit into the whole scheme of things, what you do at Autodesk, and kind of tell us a bit about your take on everything going on at the show today.
Yeah, all right, yeah, I can talk about this for hours. So my role is quite central. I basically, the whole operational aspect of the show is kind of under my wings, and together with Robert Shear and Lon Addison, we basically cooked this thing up. With a grander plan, a great idea that, we want to bring all these different people, all these different, areas of technology together, because you can never find all these things in one place. And we thought, people would probably enjoy seeing all this stuff together, bringing together world-class speakers with, inspiring talks. And I was involved pretty much for the past 3-4 months in actually making this thing really happen. And the first time, it's always exciting because and worrisome, because you don't know if people care and if people will show up. So, right, we basically, as I told you a second ago, we signed up over 1,000 people now as of this morning. So, we're thrilled, right? It's beyond our expectations, right? Our demo hall is fantastic. People can see amazing things. Our talks are off the charts. So, we're really happy. So that's been my day job in the past 3-4 months.
And is this something new to you, or have you done it?
Oh no, yeah. So I joined Autodesk roughly 3 years ago. I got as part of an acquisition of a small company that I co-founded, a technology company, and we basically the Recap product, which is basically the capture product, if you want, for laser scanning in Autodesk. We brought that out, and did product management for that, let it grow up and switch now to a more market development type of role. So my job is basically 60% of my time dealing with our customers and helping them adopt these new technologies. I said on soapboxes many times, just to preach the message of reality capture and reality
3D
computing.
proselytizing.
Exactly. That's the right word to put it at. And so, this fits really, really well in with what I want to achieve, right? My goal in life is that these technology become mainstream, available to our everyday user, even to the consumers, right? So, I got a lot of passion for what we're doing here at Real.
So you mentioned a technology company prior to Autodesk, and so was that company absorbed by Autodesk? Yeah. And so has that now been like the big buzz here is all about Project Memento.
Oh, obviously. Yes. Yeah.
So was that in some way related to what you've worked on, or?
Yes and no, partly, right? So what the product that literally came out of our acquisition is Recap. It's our run-of-the-mill engineering laser scanning application, so that and Recap has got tens of thousands of unique users every month, right? It was the success is pretty amazing. And we also saw this other opportunity around the object space, a different type of data around meshes, because we were, as a company, that's kind of where the link is. We knew how to deal with really, really big data. That was basically our technology acquisition. We could deal with these hundreds of gigabytes of data sets, but there was no solution really for a more structured data like meshes. So we actually took the knowledge of our technology of dealing with these large data sets, applied it to mesh technology to create this new product portfolio around being able to document, digitize, and publicize these or publish these 3D assets, if you want to call it that. For telling stories on the web or 3D commerce or things like that. So that's where the Memento brainchild basically stemmed from. The big idea came from, and then we started basically a technological path to get this to market. So
because my understanding is like these point cloud systems are gigabytes and gigabytes of information. And so if you want to portray them on the web or something, it becomes difficult unless you either compress it or you have a system that's super efficient. So it looks like to me that like Memento has found some way to basically crunch it in a way that you can store it on the cloud, you can open it up in a web browser and kind of check it out, and you can manage these 3D assets like you were saying
Absolutely. And here's where it makes sense to go to a mesh type of technology, right? So I know the point cloud work really well. I've been in that space for roughly a decade. But the things are very inefficient and large, right? They are very hard. You can compress them. We've got amazing compression technology, but then it's a much harder problem to solve. It's a lot of technological jibber jabber, which I won't bother you with. But actually, when we're able to convert that data that comes from these scanning devices into a mesh, you can do a hell of a lot more compression, right? So we can compress almost losslessly 100 to 1 from the original data. So that you can start applying a lot more trickery and a lot more intelligence of algorithms to deal with that data size problem. On top of that, and that came kind of out of my old company's technological stack, is be able to then stream that data efficiently, stream data sets that are way larger than your internal memory could ever cope with, efficiently and seamlessly to your display. And it doesn't really matter if it's on a web browser or if it's on your desktop, right?
So it's using like a supercomputer in the background.
Exactly. Well, that's the power of the cloud as well, right? That you can do a lot of this intelligence and heavy lifting. You can do that on the cloud, so you can send only the right information that's necessary to get the right experience at the right location, a mobile device or otherwise.
Right. You can pay per unit, if you will.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, and then the whole business model of that, we're still trying to figure that one out, right?
Right.
It's an iterative process of developing this product. I think we're going to put more and more effort into it because we really think there's a big business opportunity for Autodesk there, right?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, we're coin operated as a company. We're a public company, so a lot of the focused effort around Memento is really around digital heritage, because there's museums. That's one of our inspirational ideas around behind Memento. Where it came from is actually the problem that the Smithsonian has with its 137 million objects that they have, and only 2% are ever available to the public. Like, how can we bring that massive data or object set to everybody to be able to
in the classroom and not even have to go to the Smithsonian? You can have it anywhere.
Yeah, so that's kind of where the inspiration came from.
That's beautiful.
And that's what we're basically working on training. So the X3D project we did with them, that's only 20 of their iconic objects, but that was kind of the pilot to see what that could look like, and how can we let people experience these things in the web? How can we let a curator who doesn't know anything about technology actually tell the story of one of these objects through a web browser, basically, and allow them to curate that?
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
really exciting time. And I saw one of your colleagues downstairs. He had he dove down, or he's a diver, obviously, and he told me he took a digital SLR down and he took photographs of the seafloor, and he had a 3D print of a piece of coral, and it was so detailed and so beautiful. It was beyond any photogrammetry type thing I've ever seen before. And so this is like, and this is totally free now. Yeah. So one of the great things, and that's what I like that Reels is about a little bit. It's about these convergence, these different technologies blending together to solve problems which weren't able to be solved before. And the coral example is beautiful because it's not just, the goal is not just to, we have a 3D print of a piece of coral, that's great, but actually it allows researchers to see how is actually the coral reefs deteriorating, because then they can create 3D versions of that, compare them over time to see how, coral gets damaged, gets built up again. So there's actually a greater good associated with this technology. Research aspect to
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. So interesting stuff. And so, and Memento right now, we can access it at memento.autodesk.com or
Correct.
something.
Yeah, we're putting a new website up around that. We just launched it as a formal product. We're in the process of productizing it. It's available for free for now. I invite everybody to go out and try it out. It's a fun product. It's also, well, here's the the point with Memento is all the stuff you can do with it was always possible before, but it required extremely high-end software, very difficult to use, a user interface that's hard to learn. It took probably months, and then you're talking about a 20 grand piece of software. What we want to try to do is take the hard part away from the user and make the adoption and the accessibility of doing these things and bring them to the regular user like you me.
Right, and I think that's one of the areas I've seen Autodesk is definitely leading the charge in. Is what we're seeing right now is the decentralization of many things. We're seeing the decentralization of technology, obviously, information. It all started with the decentralization of information with the internet, right? Absolutely. And now we're seeing decentralization of manufacturing methods. We've got 3D printing now is super accessible and available to anybody. And but really the driving force behind it all is the CAD software that for a long time has been a $20,000,
Yeah.
$10,000 investment in a piece of software. And now Autodesk, they're definitely on the bleeding edge of having the available software for less money. You know, you've got products like Fusion 360 and you've even got free.
Yeah, our consumer products do amazing. You can do amazing things with their consumer products. You wouldn't believe.
I know, and I mean, like things like Fusion 360, which I think are only like $300 or something. That's
really ultimate if you got in before December, which I'm part of. Use it for my products.
But you get a feature tree, and you get most of the features that you would see in the Big Brother products like Inventor or SolidWorks. You know, you get these features that typically before were only a professional level CAD application. And so I think Autodesk has kind of caught on to the fact that the maker community is a huge amount of it's a huge customer base.
And that's part of to do with, we feel that manufacturing is going to change, right? The concept of manufacturing moving from I produce 1 million parts and then the same to like, I can produce every part differently for a different purpose at the same price point. Actually, I don't have to do it in a big factory. I can actually do it at my local Kinko's as 3D printing or as discrete manufacturing technology advances. So, we believe that that's going to happen. It might take some time. And it's maybe a 10-year process, maybe shorter. I don't know. It's hard to do that out of a glass bowl. But we are definitely the ones that see that. And Autodesk always had its DNA had simplification, going downstream. We use democratization, and we overuse that word, but it is kind of at the core of what Autodesk does. We try to take high-end technologies and make it available to a wider group of people. So,
that's a great task. So, Elmer, tell us what else was maybe some show points that you'd like to talk about and maybe share with our listeners. Is there anything?
Before we get into that, I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So could you kind of give us kind of an AutoCAD overview as far as all those particular departments? We've had, I think, about
Autodesk.
What did I say?
AutoCAD.
I'm sorry, Autodesk. We've had about 5 different people on from Autodesk. We've had Jesse Harrington on, Carl on, we had Robert yesterday. So we've seen a lot of different areas, actually a couple more people. We've got the Fusion 360, we've got the 123D design series, we have the Spark initiative now.
Yes.
Can you kind of give us an overview of all these particular departments and
how Autodesk is structured?
Yes.
Do you have another hour?
Well,
no.
We've got 14 minutes.
No. So Autodesk is organized basically in a couple of chunks to keep it simple, right? We have something called IPG, Information Platform and Product Group, which is roughly 70% of the Autodesk revenue and is a big component of all the traditional products in there: AutoCAD, Revit, Navisworks, etc. In those, and we actually sit in that as well as a recap team because we actually supply a lot of technologies to that group. We sit under that group has got its own group CTO, and so its own new technology that are emerging. So we as a Reality Solutions group, so Robert Shear's group, who you talked to yesterday, sit in there. Next to that, we've got basically mechanical design. It's called DLS simulation is in there, which is really the mechanical part of things. So Inventor, Alias, or automotive products. Fusion sits in there. That's really that part of things. We've got, of course, an industry strategic marketing group where all of our marketing engine sits in. And we have a reputation and consumer group where our consumer team sits in. So that the entire Spark and Ember parts sit in that, as well as our branding, for example. So those are kind of the components that you talked about now. And of course, we have sales and all the traditional parts, HR and all that sort of exciting stuff. So those are basically the 3 main components where a product live inside of the company.
Okay, great, appreciate it. Okay, back to you.
So back to the show. Real 2015, it's the first year. Yes. I saw some really awesome stuff on the show floor, but maybe you could share some of your highlights.
Yeah, I'm excited about everything, right? I'm so thankful to all we basically bootstrapped this event because like I said, I didn't even know, we had no idea what was going to happen. And a lot of these partners in the event, they took a total leap of faith, because literally up to like a month ago, we didn't even give them any information on program, on where their booths are going to be, because we were running in front of this tidal wave of things that we needed to do. So basically, all of them were very excited to have them there, and the goal was really to give a very diverse as we could for a first event. look at these technologies, right? So you'll see this traditional scanning vendors in there. They're showing some pretty cool stuff. We've got a lot of UAVs from those companies, but also 3D printing. We have a couple of exciting startups. I love the macro guys who are doing this ultra high detail photography, create 3D models of these insects. It's just crazy stuff that they're doing.
And they were doing it with a digital SLR. With this like big telescope and lens.
Super lens.
I haven't had a chance to go and really talk to them.
Have you seen the 3D reconstruction of that? It's just mind-boggling because they do full multiple f-stops. They do full HDR photography of that. It's a beautiful setup. And they're a startup from the North Bay here in the Bay Area, and we really like supporting them. We're grateful they brought their stuff along to show. So I think the crowd is coming in this afternoon is going to be very excited to see that stuff. We're glad to have the Made in Space folks come in, right? They got a claim to fame that they put their printer on side of the ISS, and they printed a wrench, and that made it all over the news. So it's great to have them here. That's exciting. Tech Shop, putting them their big, their mobile unit. They jumped in and said, hey, we'll be part of this. And of course, our major gold sponsor and notable one is Arab, right? It's one of our big customers, a big engineering and architectural firm who believes in this concept greatly. And he said, we want to be up front and center in this. They're not a vendor, right? They're just a customer actually who said, we believe in this so much that we want to have a central role in Rio, which is pretty cool. That kind of gives you, that's a kind of a litmus test if you're going beyond the traditional trade show, because we don't want this to be a trade show. We internally talked about this being an anti-conference, right? We don't want to have the conference look and feel. We want people to experience things.
Where it's not just about salesy and getting approached by somebody trying to sell you stuff. I mean, you can buy whatever you want, and there's definitely some great toys down there that you can buy if you were in the market. It's definitely still a great conference to come and check out technology if you're in the market for this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely it has a unique feel to it. It's different than any other conference I've ever been to. That's for sure. Yep. So,
I'll consider that as a personal compliment. That was really what we're trying to achieve. And for first year, I think it's pretty impressive. And I'm absolutely confident. Seeing that, another litmus test for me is if our senior executives stick around. Like Carl was here all day yesterday, and our CTO, Jeff Walski, was here all day. That just fills me with a little bit of personal pride that those guys, spend their expensive time at this event.
Right.
Happy to see that.
Awesome. So, great. You got any more questions?
No, no. That would be a quick one. Let's see what else we can ask them. So what do you do personally?
What I do personally. 2 kids, one 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. That keeps you pretty busy.
How about to say that's your life?
That's probably mine.
And where are you located?
I'm in the East Bay, so I actually work out of the San Francisco office here in one market. It's a beautiful location. So for anybody who actually wants to see some more exciting stuff, we have something called the Gallery. It's open on Wednesdays and Fridays. Anybody can come visit. It's a great experience, great place to come. It's one of the few kind of free museums you can go to, which shows you another look into what our customers are doing with our software. Because it's kind of hard to describe a software company. What you do, you make software. So what? The gallery is a really nice portrayal of what our customers are actually doing. Like they're designing the Bay Bridge and the whole construction project around that. Media entertainment, exactly, and of course the entire film industry. A lot of people don't know the entire film industry runs on our software. Basically, we got Tim Weber, who got the Oscar for the film Gravity, presenting this morning about some of the crazy stuff that they did. So, come check it out. It's a fun place.
So Wednesdays and Fridays, you need to make an appointment.
No, you can just come and they'll let you in. Right?
And it's in San Francisco, like near
1 Market Street, 2nd floor, right across the ferry building.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Next Friday, I'm in town. I'm there.
Are you going to be here next Friday?
No, but next Friday when I am.
The next. Okay.
Next time, I'll definitely have to make it by.
Little slow today.
So, awesome, Elmer. Well, thanks so much for being on our program.
And I've actually got one more question.
Okay.
Right. Carl alluded, not actually, he was pretty direct about it, that what a lot of people don't realize is how much international coverage you have. Even though we're in San Francisco right now, a lot of your customers are outside of the United States. Can you talk about that a little bit? How many offices you might have? And
I think we're 46 locations, 46 countries all over the world. We have offices. We're pretty much all over the place. And Autodesk is very tightly integrated into its partner network. So we have a lot of partners that resell our software, and they're literally in every country in the world. We've got, I think, 4,500 of them. We're literally, even though we're a relatively small company, right? We're a mid-cap company. Our reach is enormous, and that's one thing. You know, I've spent 10 years of my life within a company like IBM, which is really, really large.
Mhm.
And it's amazing what type of reach a company like Autodesk has across the world, and how we impact the design world and everything that's being created in the world. So it's very inspiring to work for.
Yeah, and now that you've got this groundswell with some of your less expensive or even
Yep.
free applications, you're just going to bring up the kids to say, Autodesk, that's going to be like
You got
Kleenex.
it. Exactly. That's the point. Yeah, we got hundreds of millions of users of our consumer apps, which is staggering. Right?
Yeah,
It's
and
success.
yeah, we're really excited about it, and we're glad to have you here, Elmer. Okay,
Yeah,
Chris.
Pleasure.
Well, thanks again for being on the
You bet.
program, and always you were an inspiration. And thanks for having us at the Real 2015. And we'll be coming up here shortly. We've got Tatiana, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
she's amazing.
Yeah, we'll
She's just
probably
next-
spend an hour. She's exciting, and I had an opportunity to play with Memento last night, and I was really interested in it, and actually brought in some models, so maybe we can figure out how she can see what I'm doing, and yeah, has some little quirks that I'd like to talk to her about as well. I know, it's beta. That's what they call it. Yeah,
You got to start somewhere.
that's right. And hopefully she's getting good feedback to make it. I like its look. It's clean. The interface is great, but we'll leave that for her.
Awesome.
again,
So we'll
thank-
see you we'll see our listeners at about 2:30
2:30.
here at.
Yeah, well, let's see, 2:30. But at 1 o'clock, we're going to go out on the show floor and do some more walking around. And having Chris here, yesterday I was doing everything, and he was at his desk back home taking it easy. But today he's going to have to walk a little bit and actually talk to people.
It'll be cool.
Not like he has a problem with
So
that.
we'll see you at 1 on the show floor on All Things 3D.